Okay, welcome to week 7. This will be the last one that we'll be doing for a few weeks. Um, and we're going to be doing flippering of the legs today, among other things. So last week, then you were going to be flipping the legs. Flipping the legs is difficult to describe. It is the structure, of course. I'll do a quick demo, and then as we go through it, I'll use my words. So we see, for the most part, we do it on our face down. And look at just to be great. Great things but principally, it's like you've got fins for feet. So if I face down here, eventually my ankles are good morning. Eventually my ankles are blocked in. There's towels in there with little blocks. Thank you. So your ankles block in, and then you do exploration of the feet. So that's the first thing. And the really fascinating thing about exploration of the feet is what comes to the again. So like turning my head, my back next to the again, with the flippering of my feet, there's legs in here. So as I explore the foot eventually, I'm going to bring my toe upwards towards my knee and my foot and try and find the top around the top and then pull something back. And then twist over the head and see if this stuff is going on. And then I'm going to bring the legs up and then I'm going to pull again. So the thing I have sensors in this part, the enemy is looking for stuff. Likewise, when I go the other way, I'm going to bring my toes down and then my heel is looking for stuff. And this brings the knee back. Now, we could technically put something sliding underneath to make this slide more easily. You can do that if you decide to practice this at home. But this is basically the deal. That's flippering the legs, and it's like flippering the hands in that the digits surge and they find the gravity of the ball, and then the wrist surge. One other thing about and this is other aspect of flippering, which I think we talked about before. When you're in constructive rest here, you flip the feet over the floor, and this is by your toes look for the floor, and then like a caterpillar, it seeks across the floor. Fascinating aspect of this is that if you just extend the leg, this bit will come off the floor. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm right. You get those here. But if you flip on the feet and allow this to sink into the always release, always release. And then at this point, the toes come to the heel, ceiling, and the heel seeks the wall. Toes come to the ceiling, toes come to the ceiling, heel seeks the floor. So this flippers out like this. You look, my back doesn't come off the floor yet. It does a bit because there's a natural curve there, which is groovy. You want to have a curve there. It's fine to have a curve there. It's great to have a curve there. But an overextended curve keeps tension. It's not so much. Yeah? So, yeah, those are the forms of flippering on the feet. And we're going to be doing flippering on the feet. Why would we do flippering on the feet? I would say, what's the point of that? Well, the idea is to negate the habit of the big muscles, fast muscles, from habitually engaging. And what that leaves is supporting muscles in connection with the support structure to do the work. That means that doing feet and then do what the doing muscles do. So if I'm walking, rather than habitually grabbing hold of big muscles in order to stride, you allow the internal muscles to do the thing. The internal muscles have so much more resilience.
Resistance?
When you can stand for a long time, endurance. Hold that. Okay, so we're also going to be doing some prone stuff, which is lying face down. And just want to talk real quick about the floor. This is the floor, and my face is on the floor. If my face is like that, crushing from those, that's not sustainable. So what you're using is the floor to elongate so that most of the forehead is on the floor, have a little bit on the bump. And then you use the floor. Yes. Okay. So construct rest to begin with. Lying with a block under your head, and just place the blocks on the carpet. Then you're going to remove the blocks, and when we remove the blocks, that'll make way for your face. So the point of the towel is so your face is in contact with the towel, not with whatever's been on the carpet. So to begin with your feet up, we're just going to use 11, 12, or 13 anchor points on the floor. So along these. So those 12 or 13 or 11 anchor points are the back of the head on the block. And this is why we have blocks with no cushions. It's so that the back of your head gets lots of juicy, sensory input directly from the floor. And then you have the shoulder blades, and you have the elbows, and then you have 1, 2, or 3 points of nose. And 1, 2, or 3 points of each foot. So those 3 points on each foot are the heel, the point of contact behind the pink toe, the point of contact behind the big toe. To begin with, I want to bring your minds to your senses. So first thing we're going to do is talk about senses and associations with senses. So bring your mind's eye to the feelings that exist in your structure as it is at the moment. And there is this odd thing about associations or thought patterns with everything that you're coming in contact with or everything that is connected with your senses. So, for instance, with your eyes open, as you look at the ceiling, there are a myriad of pattern matches with the things that you see. So the color, the shapes, what you recognize as ceiling, what you recognize as... And so just track through as you lie there looking up and see if you can empty your mind of all associations. So that eventually what you see is just shapes, or not even that, even just information coming from the outside and arriving in your retina. You can strip away all associations with that, like a bed air, like a hand air. The same thing then can be said for your sense of touch, the taste in your mouth, the smells that are coming in, anything that you're feeling in contact or connection with the floor at the moment.
Okay, so now I want you to become conscious of the two halves of your body as you're lying here. And I want you to make a choice of which side you want to be conscious of first. And then what I'd like you to do is to take one of your hands and begin to explore up the center line of the body, of that side, and begin to explore that side of your body with your hand as if it's the first time. And as your hand lands on particular parts, it really is just like, what is that that's just above that divot in front of, on the front of my, whatever this round thing is. And just keep exploring that one particular side. And the side that is not exploring, see if you can just let that go. So what it's going to want to do is join in, but just see if you can let that side remain unstimulated. Because the interesting thing is, once you bring your mind to trying to undo that side, because that side just, it's like an itch that you can't forget. And as you explore that side, see if you can explore it in such a way that you can release the tensions that are wrapped up on that particular side. So if you're exploring with your hand and you come up against the side that is particularly tense, then allow your breath to come in to recognize that tension, and on the out breath, you're just going to release that into the floor, or release it into your hand. The fascinating thing about the relationship between tension and sensitivity is that as tension increases, sensitivity decreases. So as you make the determination to breathe out tension, so you're actually increasing the sensitivity of that side, of that particular neural pathway. And if you get down to your legs, of course, there's a particular part where your arms just won't go any further, then you can begin to creep that leg forward of that side. Creep that leg forward, and you're just going to allow the creeping of the leg to be the input of release of that side. And creep it forward all the way out. And then when it gets to the bottom, you can roll that leg around and stimulate use the floor to stimulate that side of the body, that side of the leg. Just give it a little roll there. And likewise with your hand on that side, you can just drift that across the floor and roll the hand so that the arm is rotated over the floor, so you can feel your arm on that side. So your leg is rotating, and you can flipper that around on the floor. And your arm can rotate. You can feel the skin in contact with the floor on that side. And here again, interestingly enough, this is a little instigation to separate the halves. So if you find one half wanting to join in, you say, your turn will come. It is an interesting exploration, as all this is, to say, okay, what wants to join in? What habitually wants to make itself come online, even though it's not necessary? So there's the wing across the back. There's the pelvic girdle. There's the spirals, which we've looked at, and the spirals that move through the body. You've done a bit of exploration on that side. You can just walk that leg back up to come up to the ceiling. And let that hand come and rest gently on your belly, on your rib cage. Your elbow on the floor there. And just in that moment, compare one side to the other. What do you notice? And now you'll start the same exploration on the other side. And this side it does have the advantage of what you discovered on the other side. So this hand is going on an adventure with the knowledge of what was successful on the adventure on the other side. But don't let that interfere with the nuances and peccadillos of this side. What is different on this side? It's the same advocacy of how you release tension, which is breathing in to notice the tension, and then breathing out to let gravity bring about release. So there's some fun things, of course, tied in with thought processes. The inside of my car is like, it's terrible. It's like, it's full of, empty dishes and stuff that I haven't cooked yet. And it's like, my mind jumps around all the time. And hence, I forgot to bring that cup in. So it's in the car for a long time. So what's the deal with thoughts? Well, in this case, where we are right now, you're not going to judge thoughts. You're going to allow thoughts to pass through. So, like clouds, and with the breathing, you can allow those thoughts to arrive and dissipate in the same way as you can allow muscular tension to arrive and dissipate. So at the top of the breath, there is this quiet moment of suspension. And in my experience, that quiet moment of suspension can be pure emptiness. In the same way as the bottom of the breath can be emptiness. You can allow the thoughts to pass by like clouds on a clear blue sky. In the same way as you can allow muscle tension to just drift away, to just dissipate. Allowing yourself to just melt into the floor. And this is a great thing about what Rain and Dart instigated. Is this idea of the planet being the thing that allows you to explore your states of attention. You get all that sensory input from the floor. All the time, things are being renewed and rewritten in your structure. All that information is just in order for you to survive more efficiently. Yes, right. Cool. It's not that experience isn't necessary or prediction isn't necessary. It's the chronic habit of referring always to the same experience and always referring to the same experience, predictions. That's what you're trying to rewrite. Okay, if you've explored both sides, then just bring that foot up to be next to the other. And then just have a little comparison of both sides. And now, let one hand drift up to the top of your head. And grab the back of your head, just nice and easy. You're going to lift your head so that the other hand can remove the block. Get that block out of the way. Lovely. You're going to extend one of the hands, continue to extend it out and up above your head in as much as you can. You're going to lie on that arm. And the same, you can just let both knees draw an armpit towards the ceiling. Look towards under your armpit and then roll over onto that side. And then just have a little rock on that side. Lie on that arm. Really luxuriate on that arm. And just lie on that arm. And roll that side out. So as your body on that side says hello to gravity, let's see if you can just release along that line. So this is going to go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And also the head lying on that arm. Just going to see what you can give. So as if your arm is part of the floor, and your head is just lying. Yeah. Great. So then in the neck, there's all those myriad muscles. Just going to say, release on that. Yeah. Great. And give yourself one last little rock, same color to that side. And then you're going to reverse the process. So you're going to look over onto the other side, and your heart is going to follow, and you're going to be going over to the other side. So you're going to extend that arm up on that side, and you're going to continue to see what's on there. There's something over there that you really like. Oh yeah, that's your arm. You're going to lie on that arm. Yeah. And this is a very, very nice place to be. This is very, very, very fecal, primal. Just give yourself a little block, it's to wake up that side or to stimulate that side. But part of the idea of this is to release to lengthen. Releasing to lengthen. Nice, beautiful. Yeah. So this. Yes, exactly. feel that let go. Raymond Dart really did this for himself because he didn't have an Alexander teacher to do hands-on. And so you are teaching yourself, you're giving yourself the tool to actually study what bits of you are still holding on to. So you really use the ground, use the floor as a teacher. Gentle, loving, glorious Mother Earth, giving us a fantastic planetary tool, your own personal planetary tool. And then you're just going to continue this spiral onto the floor, lying face down. And this is where this is where it might begin to get a bit uncomfortable. And yeah, doing a bit of flippering over onto face down. So if the spine is elongating and the back of the head is elongating, you can just have a little bit of you can place this block under your skull just for a little, just for the time being. Yeah. Fantastic. What's that like? What's it like? Apart from uncomfortable. Great. So this is a fun thing for those propelled with chin forward through the universe. Try this. Try that right under the sternum. Just for a bit. Yeah. Whoa. Well, okay. So see if you can rotate your head on the spot to go one way. Yes, that's great. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Great. Very, very good. Yeah. And as you're looking towards one way, the hand that's behind your head, you're going to flip her down to being next to that side. Just going to flip her all the way down. And there'll come a point where you will have to flip her all the way down. You're exploring with the finger and exploring with the wrist. Okay, this is great. Yes, great. You can spot tension by the fact that bits come up off the floor. Yeah, if you took just a skeleton and put it on the floor, it would go wrong. if you took just a skeleton with muscles and it just go, so as it goes, things will go. So you're kind of trying to empty yourself out of unnecessary tension so that you go onto the floor. I don't know whether is a word, but I propose that as an onomatopoeic expression of releasing to the floor. Is a pretty good one. So it's going to flipper it down, keep flippering until you get to a point where you've got one arm next to your head, which is folded, which is in front of your face, which is cool. And the other one, which behind you, is going to flip it down, and there'll come a point where it'll have to flip over. Yeah. If you come in contact with someone else's hand, that's great sensory information. And then the back of the hand flippers down until it's next to the body. Yes, you feel that rotation here. So here, is it possible to do this? Yes, exactly. We can release all the way along that line. Yeah. Yes, great. You feel all the way to get in. Yeah. Okay, so on that side, I want to play with the leg. I'm going to do leg flipping. The first thing you're going to do is imagine the heel on that side, the side that you're facing. So on the side that you're facing, imagine that heel is going to raise up to the ceiling. Now, careful, just because the heel is, I use the words heel raise up to the ceiling, your body will have an immediate automatic, okay, time for the leg to work. I want you to see if you can just allow the weight of the leg to inform what is necessary for movement. So can you release all the main body structures that are interfering with the leg coming up with the ceiling? See if you can imagine magnetism, so that maybe the heel is magnetized to the ceiling, and that's what's allowing the heel to come up. Or maybe the toes are seeking along the floor and then drawing an arc across the wall up to the ceiling. So you then have it's the dilemma of coming up against gravity. What is it that takes you away from the floor? And how much is the floor giving you the ability to raise away from the floor? So rather than a struggle in conflict with the floor, you're allowing the floor to enable the leg to rise. Nice. Yes. It goes right up until it gets to right angles, and then you're just going to draw a little arc across the ceiling with your heel. It comes up to its full bend. Yeah. And as the sole of your foot is almost as if it's standing on the ceiling, so the sole of your foot is completely up now. And you see how this is just that foot coming up is a study in itself. Because that whole structure is full of associations. So when your foot is up there, you're just going to drift the sole of the foot across the ceiling. And as the foot is drifting or drawing an arc across the ceiling, feel the femur, your upper big thigh bone, spinning around or moving in the pelvis. and see if the muscles around that can be released. See if you can release in that movement. And then bring that foot back down to the ground. Let it seat the ground. Beautiful. Okay, now so we're gonna have some fun flippering. You're gonna just see that the toes, the very ends of your toes, are either like the tentacles of an octopus, or maybe they're the eyes on the end of snails and the proboscises, and they are just searching across the floor, just the toes. And then if your toe then gets a grip point, it finds a grip point in the carpet, if your heel just falls towards the midline, and you're going to see if you can flipper that foot up. Now I'm going to give a little hand on this because this is tricky. So that falls in there like that. Yeah. And just heel is up here. And then you're going to let the heel do the searching so that the knee begins to look. Yes. Maybe just a tiny movement, or it could be a big movement. Oh. And when the foot gets to a certain point, when the knee gets to somewhere around a comfortable level of bend, I'm just going to stay there for a moment in this position and wait. And we've talked about this, it was last week or the week before, the idea of waiting having two meanings. Just waiting, like hanging around at a bus stop, and waiting, as in allowing the weight of the limbs to spread out across the floor. Okay, so then you're going to allow that leg to flip back down. And as you flipper the leg back down, really have fun pausing every now and then just to go, what can I let go of? Am I holding on further on up the structure? Is it possible to make this flipper without the rest of the structure interfering? Beautiful movements, really, really great. Now there's also the idea of if you have hypermobility, you then ask yourself as you flipper into each position, how to allow the connective tissues to connect integrally as you flipper. So you're using gravity to reconnect at the joint. And then when your legs are side by side, you're just going to do a little rotation of your head to the other way. So here we go. You're just going to slide that head and slide the forehead. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And then you're going to reverse flipper. So the arm that's up by your ear, you're going to flip it down by your side. And we're doing this at top speed. We're doing it at speed 1.5. There should be some comic music in the background. Yeah. And then you're going to flip the other arm up to be so that the hand is in front of your face at right angles. And even if at one point, even if we're going at this speed, if there's a point where you can pause and then just allow the tension to drift away. Yeah, great. Yes. And you're letting the senses do all the work. So in the same way as you have associations with what you see, there are associations with how you make movements. So you're going to try and see if you can disassociate the movement and come back to just the senses of the moment right now. And then you're going to feel that foot come up to the ceiling. You want to get to flippering, so you're just going to allow that foot to come up. So you're going to learn from the other side what allows that foot to release down the length of the leg. And just give that leg a little wave in the air. Just to feel that femur move around in the socket. This is a deal. I actually think that this is a deeply important part of the whole DART procedures. Because what you're doing here is you're seeing what parts of the structure, your bar